Peeps, what's poppin'? It's your boy from CancerMoonsTarot, and welcome to Tarot Training Class Session 1. Let's get it poppin', baby. Keep in mind, I read my tarot cards in probably a very, very different way than most readers do. Every reader, I don't want to hear it. Every reader reads tarot cards in their exact own way. Yes, most cards have the same meanings, but tarot reading is not all about the cards, it's about the intuition behind it. What your gut feeling is truly telling you. I'm teaching you guys the way I read tarot, but keep in mind, if you feel that a card has a different meaning to you, then you can use that in the way that it applies to you. I'm just giving out the way that I read personally, so that if you're just starting and you want to learn to read, or if you want to see things from the aspect that I see it in, you can follow through. Throughout the 78 tarot cards that come within the deck, the first 22 are usually the major arcana. So kicking it off with the major arcana, the first card we're going to go through is the Justice card. So the Justice card for me, keep in mind I can't really focus in on the cards too much, but the Justice card for me, always a Libra energy. So when people are asking what the zodiac sign is, for me the Justice card is strictly Libra. Now with the Justice card being in the upright position, it talks about restoring and bringing back balance to a situation. It can mean many other things, especially when it comes towards legal advice. It can be things going in your favor, especially if we're talking about a divorce. Now with the Justice card being present, it's always restoring some sort of balance in, bringing balance back. For me, that's usually through karma. Because whenever the universe sees that something has gone wrong, karma comes around to do its job. It's the universe taking care of things and restoring balance to the world. And when you see it in the reverse position, it means that nothing is really going in your favor, especially when it comes to balance. There's a big imbalance there, and nothing is getting worked out, especially through karma. So when you see it in the reverse position, that's usually what it means. Keep in mind, peeps, I'm going to keep it pretty short and to the point, alright? Now moving on to the World card. Zodiac signs, very fixed signs, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo. That's the way I see it for that, as well as the Wheel of Fortune. When we talk about the World card is an ending of a cycle that's starting a new cycle. So when anything ends within your lifetime, something new always begins. There's always an ending, but the moment that a door shuts, a new door opens. With the World card, that's exactly how it is. Something is about to end, and something new is about to come into your life. So when we're talking about karmic cycles, there's a cycle that's about to end, and a new one that's about to begin. Now keep in mind, this card for me is only endings and new beginnings coming. I don't see anything else with the World card. It can resonate at times that if you do love somebody and you cherish them, you see them as the world and you treat them as the world, but that's usually what I don't resonate it with that much. Now when it's in the reverse position, for me it's usually unfinished business. The cycle has not been closed out yet. You may have unfinished business with somebody. You know, you feel as if things are not over, you're not ready to let something end, so instead of having a new beginning, you're refusing an ending is the way I see it. Moving on to the Star card, we have the sign, the zodiac sign of Aquarius. The Star card is usually a wish being granted, a wish coming true. It's all your wishes that are coming true for you. It can also signify having hope for a situation or having healing on a situation, and the Star card is something that's always destiny. You know, you were destined to have this in your life. It was a dream that was coming true for you, but it's probably something that was already in alignment with you that is now coming into alignment. So with the Star card coming up in a spread, it means that there's hope there because your dreams are coming true. You're following your dreams and they're actually manifesting right in front of you. So with the Star card, for me, it usually signifies hope as well as dreams coming true. Now in the reverse position, it can kind of mean a various amount of things. It can mean that you have a lack of hope for something, that your dreams aren't really coming true in any sort of way. You're kind of feeling hopeless usually in a situation. I know that some people sometimes associate it, like the Nine of Cups in reverse, with self-indulgence, but I don't really associate it with that too much. Now for me, the Wheel of Fortune, very, very fated event, very destined event, something that was supposed to happen. The Wheel of Fortune as well is fixed signs too. So when it comes to the zodiac, it's Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio. Now when the Wheel of Fortune is present in a deck, it can mean that you're having a very, very fortunate time. So when it's coming to your wealth, it looks like things are looking up. So with the Wheel of Fortune, it can mean things like that, like there is good fortune coming your way. So considering I only read love, I kind of stick to love-based relationship questions and stuff like that. So whenever I do readings, it's strictly about love. So for me, the Wheel of Fortune is putting an ending and clearing out a karmic cycle. Instead of having a new beginning after that, you are putting that karmic cycle to an end and releasing it back to the universe. As for the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it usually means that there is some sort of misfortune that's coming on in your life, and it also can mean that you're refusing to close out a karmic cycle, you're letting it continue. Carrying on from the rest of the cards, we do have the Hangman. For me, the zodiac sign of the Hangman is Pisces, Piscean energy. When the Hangman comes into play, it usually means that you're feeling stuck or feeling trapped within a situation. It can also signify delay, because when you're stuck on something, you're delaying something from happening. So basically that there's something in the way. It can mean that there's an object in the way, or there's something in the way from you, achieving your goals. Something's kind of holding you back whenever the Hangman is present. As for it in the reverse position, it usually means that you are releasing something. So instead of being stuck and focused on something, you are putting something to rest and releasing reversing it. So that's the way I see it in both terms. Moving forward, we have the Empress. Now the Empress is usually a Libra energy, but I kind of associate more so with Pisces too, so I go both ways with that card. I use it for Libra as well as Pisces. With the Empress, it does usually signify that somebody is pregnant or a pregnancy is occurring, but for not everybody, it's not always the card of pregnancy. Yes, genuinely it does have that aspect to it, but it means many other things as well. It also signifies growth within a connection, you know, working hard, growing, aiming towards something, but the Empress is somebody who is basically a motherly-like figure. It's somebody who's very nurturing, who puts someone else's needs before their needs and always wants to take care of another person. So the way I see the Empress is, it's, you know, putting someone's needs before yours, always trying to make something work. Basically, you know, trying to meet somebody's needs in a sense and, you know, really help for growth and want to make something work out is usually the way that I see the Empress. Now in the reverse position, it can signify a miscarriage if anybody unfortunately has an event of going through one, and it also can mean that somebody here is not taking into consideration somebody's needs to grow in a relationship and a connection. Somebody here is kind of being selfish. So in the reverse position, somebody can be selfish in that aspect. Moving forward, we do have the Hermit. As for the Hermit, it's Virgo energy. Now the Hermit has a lot of things. A lot of people always like to say he's the wisest person in the tarot deck, and that's the way that I see it. Because with the Hermit always goes to look for the answer, look for the right answer, and he ends up finding it. With the Hermit card, it usually means isolating yourself, being isolated from other people, you know, taking a break from somebody, taking a break from your surroundings, to kind of just meditate, focus on yourself, and find the answers that you need to find. So when the Hermit card appears in the upright position, it's usually isolating yourself from a situation because you need time to think. Now when it's in the reverse position, for me that means that the Hermit already got its answer. The person already got the answer that they needed to, and now they return back to the situation. They're no longer being isolated because they found out all the things they needed to know. With the Magician as well, I consider it Virgo energy too. When you look at the Magician, it's all about manifestation. Knowing that you have the tools and the proper tools to bring anything within your life like that. For example, you want to start a new business, you know that you have not only the power in your mind, but you have the money to back yourself up from that. You know that you have all the tools that you need to bring something to you, to create something, to build something. You know, the Magician always gets what he wants because he knows what he wants and knows that he can have it. So whenever you're talking about the Magician, it's usually somebody that's manifesting something into their reality, but also they know that they have the tools to get what they need already. Very confident kind of card. Now, as for the outcome, it can signify a sort of bit of a loss or not wanting to manifest a situation with somebody or have something with somebody because you feel as if there's a lack of confidence within you, or you feel as if it's not something you resonate with. Moving forward, we do have the Temperance card, which is Sagittarian energy. It goes under the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. With the Temperance card in the upright position, it usually means that you are trying to restore balance into your life, but more so balance within your emotions. When somebody's going through a moment of really destructive emotions, going through a really bad period, the Temperance card comes up because this person's trying to work on themselves. It usually shows that somebody's trying to work on a situation with somebody. For example, if you're going through a fight, you'd like to work it out, the Temperance card can appear. Or you're trying to work on yourself or work through situations in a more positive manner than more so negative. Now when the Temperance pops up in reverse, it usually can signify mental illness for some that are bipolar. If not, when it's in the reverse position, it's kind of signifying that somebody's not really growing. Their emotions are all over the place. Their emotions aren't very balanced, and it's hard for them to balance things out. They're basically going through an emotional roller coaster and kind of a disaster of emotions that it's really hard for them to get out of that pit that they put themselves in. Continuing on, we have the Devil card. Now this is the zodiac sign of Capricorn, and my mom is a Capricorn, so she can be a devil. When you see the Devil card here, it's something that's never good for you. You are connecting with somebody who's toxic, or you're dealing with a toxic situation. The Devil card is simply toxicity. Now it also can mean that you feel attached to somebody. It can mean that there's some sort of addiction. For some, you can be addicted to a person, addicted to alcohol, drugs, anything like that can signify an addiction that when it comes up in a spread. Also with the Devil card too though, it's not only just addiction to materialistic things, it can be addiction to a connection, feeling tied and bound to somebody. Feeling so addicted to them and obsessed with them and feeling like you're stuck with this person when you're really stuck with something that you shouldn't be resonating with. You're addicted to something toxic, but you can't break the bond that you feel with that person. Now with the Devil in reverse, it usually means releasing all toxicity, releasing negative emotions, and letting those emotions go back. And it can mean releasing a toxic person out of your life and away from you. Moving on, we have the Tower. Now a lot of people hate the Tower, but it's one of my favorite zodiac signs. The Tower usually represents Scorpio energy, so for me the Tower is in the zodiac sign of Scorpio. When you see the Tower card, if you are talking about a breakup, it can signify that there is a breakup about to occur between a couple, or anything like that. It's usually breaking away from a situation. Because the Tower always crumbles down. It's a very disastrous event. You know, an event can occur in your life from as simple as a heartbreak to as crazy as a car crash. You know, it's a very disastrous event in whatever way the reading is going at. Whenever you see the Tower card, it's usually that the Tower is crumbling, but once the Tower crumbles, crashes, and burns, then you're able to start fresh and rebuild. So it can mean a period of just really nasty fighting or just a period of crazy disasters that are happening over and over again, but when they finally stop, you're able to build yourself up. That's what's so significant about the Tower. Now for the Tower in the reverse position, it means that you're avoiding a disaster. You're avoiding anything that you see disastrous. For example, if you're trying to get into a relationship with somebody but you feel as if it wouldn't work out, then you're avoiding the relationship because you view it as a disaster. Moving on to the Moon card, zodiac sign of Pisces. With the Moon card here, it's very interesting because it always talks about something that's hidden. You know, for a lot of people, it's a card that represents a lot of secret, you know, secrecy, things that are kind of going on in the background that you're not really seeing, things that are remained hidden. So whenever you see the Moon card pop up in a spread, it can mean that there are secrets being kept from you. And also with the Moon card being related so much to emotions, because the Moon is emotions, it can recognize and it can mean that somebody's feeling, especially on a full moon, that somebody's feeling the emotions from the full moon that's being projected onto them. Now when you see the Moon in reverse, for me the Moon in reverse usually means that somebody's neglecting to let a secret out. When we're talking about emotions as well, it can mean that somebody's closing off emotionally and not showing any emotion because they're keeping that emotion hidden from you and everybody else around them, alright? Moving on to the Fool, we do have the zodiac sign of Aries. With the Fool card, it's always a 50-50. You're making a decision, you're making a choice to take a leap of faith. You're going in blind or you're going in with knowledge. It's 50-50. Sometimes you're doing a really stupid choice, you're taking a really dumb leap of faith, but other times you're taking something that's good. That's why it's always a 50-50 with the Fool, because you're taking a leap of faith, you're taking a risk at something to see if it will work in your life. And as I always say, you should always take risks in anything. That's why I support the Fool card all the way. As for the outcome, somebody here may be too scared to take a leap of faith. Somebody here is declining taking a risk because they don't want to take a risk. For them, that risk is not good enough for them to take, as well as it can be something that scares them too. Moving on to the Lovers, we do have the zodiac sign of Gemini. When it comes to the Lovers card, it is a very, very deep, passionate, and soul-leveled connection. When you connect with somebody on the Lovers, yes, you are super attracted to them. There's so much attraction when it comes to their physical features and things like that. But when the Lovers comes up, it's more so a soul-tied connection. You feel so attracted to somebody on a soul level, which is something that's so beautiful. It also can signify feelings of love and new feelings of love. When it's in the reverse position, it can mean that some of you here are no longer feeling attracted to somebody on a soul level, or maybe having unrequited love as well. Then we have the Strength card. I actually have the Strength in the Sun here, but the Strength card, this is Leo, okay? With the Strength card, it means that you want to tame a situation. There's always a lion there, so that's why it's always for Leo. With the Strength card, you're trying to tame a situation, put a number down on a situation, and lock it down. Let's just say, for example, you lost your dog. Well, you want to find your dog, so you want to tame the situation. You want to get that shit on lockdown, okay? When it pops up in a love reading, you may be trying to tame that, like tame a relationship, work it out, find out where you need to go. But with the Strength card too, it does signify that you do have all the strength to get through whatever you're going through. You do have all the strength to push through whatever dark times you are currently in. When it's in the reverse position, it can stand for somebody who is kind of weak-minded, somebody who's feeling weak. They feel like they don't have enough strength to get through anything in their life or to get through something like that. But it also is an illusion, because when somebody thinks they're weak, in reality they do have the willpower, they do have it within themselves, but they put themselves in a mind state that they believe they are weak. Alright, moving on to the Sun card. It is the happiest card of all, the most happiest card in the tarot deck. The Sun card is nothing but pure fucking happiness and abundance. Whenever you see the Sun card, it's usually signified that somebody's doing really well in their life, they're really happy. There are a few times it can signify commitment as well, but when the Sun card is present, somebody's in a very high vibration, somebody's doing very well, and somebody's very happy. When it's in the reverse position, the Sun card usually represents that somebody's going through a pretty miserable time. Somebody doesn't really have happiness in their life or any enjoyment within their life. And yet again, I don't know if I mentioned, but the zodiac sign for the Sun is Leo as well. And then we have the Chariot. The Chariot is the zodiac sign of Cancer. With the Chariot, it means moving forward and having victory, claiming victory and triumph. When you have the Chariot in any sort of spread, it means moving forward in your direction, but you're moving forward in the right direction of your path. You're moving forward to your destiny, to where you need to go. Whenever you see the Chariot in reverse, it usually means that you're going on a different path, and possibly the path you weren't expecting to go on. For some people, most of the time, you may not be, you know, if it's a love reading, if you see the Chariot in reverse, it may mean that they no longer want to move forward with you, but they want to be moving forward with somebody else or moving forward somewhere else. So whenever you see it in the reverse position, it can stand that you are still going in a direction, you are still going in a path, but you're not going on the right path for you when it's in the reversed. Moving on, we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. For the Hierophant, a lot of people like to tie it down to commitment, but it doesn't only mean commitment and marriage. In a couple cases, it does mean marriage and it can signify marriage, but whenever you see the Hierophant, it usually for me signifies commitment. Now, the Hierophant is a teacher. It's actually somebody who's a spiritual teacher, so it can tie into religion or social quo or status quo in the way that people see things from a social point of view, especially when it comes to religion. So whenever you do see the Hierophant, it can represent somebody who's possibly Catholic or has a certain religious status and they abide by that. But usually when I see it in a love reading, it's more so commitment and the possibility of having a future marriage with that person. So my camera died unfortunately, and this is a day after, but we're gonna keep it popping. So going with the Hierophant in reverse, this usually signifies that, look, there isn't much potential here for a marriage, there isn't a commitment here, somebody does not want to be committed nor tied down. And also, because the Hierophant, I forgot to mention earlier, it's all about tradition. Somebody here may not be following tradition in the way that they do things, following and accepting someone's values, or simply they don't want to follow the rules. That's what it can mean as well. Now the Judgment card for me, this goes under any zodiac sign that's water sign or somebody with water in their chart. Now typically I do not know, this is the way I see the Judgment, I see it as a water sign card because I do not know the actual zodiac sign it's under, nor do I think it would pertain to the way that I see it. With the Judgment card for me, it's always about forgiveness, giving somebody a second chance and giving a chance at something. So for example, you were in a relationship in the past and it didn't work out, now this person came back around and you see the Judgment card come up in a spread. Well, that's you or them wanting to give you a second chance. So for me, I relate it more so with giving a second chance. It also is a chance that comes from the heavens. When you look at the card, it's almost like it's the angels blowing the horn. You know, saying, listen, this is destiny, you know, this is something that's supposed to happen. It's God reaching out to you. Forgive this person, give this person a chance. You know what I'm saying? So I usually resonated more so with like a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, because they do tend to be very forgiving people, most water signs that I know of. Now, when the Judgment's in the reverse, it is not giving anything a chance. It's a final decision to not give something a chance. In the upright, it can mean, you know, making a decision as well, but in the reverse, it's a final decision. And most of the times, the way I see it is that it is a final decision to not give something a chance. Moving on, we have the Emperor. The Emperor is the zodiac sign of Aries. Now, the Emperor is something that's always trying to be in control. You know, as a normal emperor are, they want that power. Very power hungry, they want control of a situation. So for me, usually it's getting control of a situation, trying to get things under control and have that power. Also, the Emperor is somebody who's very higher up. It can signify somebody that's your boss or somebody that's in a very, very good line of power. For example, like a boss or like a president, somebody who's of higher power. Getting control of a situation and having that control over a situation. Now, when I see it in the reverse position, it means you don't have control under anything. This can be a situation where you're not having control. You may be losing control. For example, if you're looking for love, you may no longer have control over that. You're letting it go and giving the control over to the universe. So it can be letting go of control and letting things happen, going with the flow and letting things loose. Moving on to the Death card, we do have the zodiac sign of Scorpio. With the Death card, it is a metaphorical death. Very little times it can signify a real death, but most of the time it is not a real death. Whenever the Death card comes, there's a transformation, and when you look at real death, you know, nothing ever really dies, just something transforms. You know, we're all energy, therefore energy can't die, it only gets transported somewhere. Well, that's the same energy here, it's a transformation. So whenever you see the Death card come up in a spread, it can mean that you're undergoing a major transformation in your life, and something about your life is about to change. It also can mean the death of a certain connection, the death of something to have a rebirth, because when something dies, something always begins. You know, they always have that saying, when one person dies, a baby is born. So when there's death, there's rebirth. Now when the death is in the reverse position, it can stand for that you're neglecting to let something end. You're trying to drag something on, you're trying to continue it. It also can mean that you're not changing something that you should be changing in your life. You're refusing to go through a transformation. You're refusing to change something. And last but not least, we have the High Priestess. Now this is under the zodiac sign of Pisces. And my Pisces, you guys know, you guys are motherfucking intuitive as shit. The High Priestess, natural intuition, most intuitive card out there. There are things, it's almost like the Moon card. It's knowing that there's things in the hidden, but it's acknowledging that something's being hidden from someone. So for example, hidden wasn't the word, hidden. Anyways, for example, let's just say that you have a gut feeling that your partner is cheating on you, and the High Priestess pops up. You know that there's something in the hidden, and intuitively you're picking up on it. So it has to deal with secrecy, just like the Moon. The two cards are very related, and it also means that follow your intuition. There is something that your intuition is always telling you. If you see the High Priestess over and over again, you should pay attention to your intuition, because it's probably trying to communicate to you. You know, sometimes our ego gets all caught up in the way, and our intuition's like, yo, this is happening. Listen to me. Alright? As for the reverse position, it can stand for ignoring your intuition. You can be ignoring your intuition and not paying attention to it. It also can mean that you're trying to keep something hidden and not let anybody find out in the reverse position, alright? Anyways guys, thank you so much for coming out to my tarot class. Keep in mind, it is just a YouTube video. I know everything was super brief. That's why I didn't want to dive super deep, because we would have been here for an hour if I dived really deep on these cards. But hopefully everything that I mentioned did help some of you, especially if you're just beginning with tarot. Now, next week I will be doing the suit, so I will start with the cups and we'll move on from there and we'll keep going. We'll go cups, you know, wands, pentacles, things like that, swords, and we'll get into all of that. So I'm going to do this on a weekly basis, so one video a week. So next week I will have the cups that are going to come out. If you guys did enjoy this video, please let me know down in the comments below. Please let me know if this was helpful, because if this is something that is helpful to you, I want to continue to do this. If this is something that you guys are like, well, I didn't really learn anything, well, then I guess I won't continue it. But if this is something you guys really do enjoy and is something that is going to help you, please let me know. Yet again, this is the way I read tarot. If you don't resonate with the way I read tarot, you can learn your own way. You can watch any other reader, and you know, like I said, your intuition tops the cards more so than what the meaning of the card is. If you feel like the card means something else, that is what it means to you. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching yet again, and hopefully you guys did enjoy. Everyone have an amazing and awesome day. Keep them vibes high and stay poppin'. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.